So it's almost mid-February,
It is.
and February is the month for couples.
Yeah. Where's this going?
We are a couple,
I know. Are you trying to butter me up for something?
maybe, and we play games together.
We do that, yes.
And we have some favorite games that we enjoy playing together.
Uh-huh.
And I think we should share that with all of
Oh,
viewers.
okay. Hey, I thought you were going to tell me I needed to buy you some more games.
Well, yes.
All right. All right.
Duh.
Here's our top 10 games that we enjoy playing as a couple right after this. Welcome to Wisco Dice. Hey, yo, folks, I am your host, the Conzi with the Most, and I am joined today by...
Hey, I'm Suzanne.
And today we're going to chat about our favorite board games, 10 of them, in fact, that we enjoy playing together.
Yes, we are a couple that games together quite a bit,
Quite often.
and a lot.
Some might say you have an insatiable appetite for playing board games.
Well, I mean, who doesn't?
A lot of people, but
Okay, well,
but in fact, you are definitely a power, not a power gamer like, hey, I have to win, but a power gamer in the fact that you will just keep playing and playing and playing and playing and playing like the Energizer Bunny of games. But
which is why he makes me take a break and talk about board games instead, so he doesn't have, he can get a break from playing sometimes.
Before we jump into this list,
yes,
what should folks do on this video?
they should smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and also give us a thumbs up to know that you are enjoying the content we are providing.
And we know most of you haven't subscribed, so do that now. All right. Well, let's dive into this list of our top 10 games that we enjoy playing as a couple, starting with our game number 10.
All right. So this is a game that we picked up at a couple years
You
ago,
introduced
Gen
me,
Con.
you was on your list for Gen Con.
First Gen Con I went to. It is Ganam by
Sorry, we are French. I love that company name.
I do love the company name. I love how the rule books are laid out too, in the French and the English, and it's a good game. It plays well at two players.
So it's a space game where you're basically trying to transport various types of colonists from Earth to Ganymede with a potential stop-off point in Mars. How
about the moon?
Or is it the moon? No, the moon is the super. I thought it was the expansion.
Oh, that's the expansion. Sorry, we played it so much. We played with the expansion.
Now
First the base game has. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
That's right.
And
Sorry.
so, the graphics are fairly simple. The boards, the game size is small, but it's a quick to set up.
Yep.
It's quick to clean up. One of the things that I think you'll notice a bit on this list is quite a few of these games are very quick to set up, very quick to clean up, so that we can play fairly quickly. And have a very interesting or deep mechanic to it. So, Ganymede, Sorry We Are French is the first on our list at game number 10.
All right, Conzi, what's at number 9?
Game number 9 is going to be Mysterium Park from Libelud. So, in Mysterium Park, one of us takes on the role as the ghost, and the other takes on the role as a psychic. And we both love Mysterium, which plays really well at larger player counts, where you're trying to solve the murderer of the ghost, and everybody has different paths to like the person, place, and weapon that ultimately were part of it. Where Mysterium Park, I think, excels is that it plays very similarly. It uses a lot of the shares the same mechanics.
But it's not the same.
But I think it scales better down to lower player counts. It actually, I think, is a worse experience when you play it at larger player counts. So if you really enjoy Mysterium and you want to play it at home with like 2 or even 3 players, you want to play it as a couple, Mysterium Park is by far the better choice for that, because it always plays well. We always enjoy it.
Yeah, we often take it turns of each being the clue giver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it plays that quick, the ghost.
Yeah. It plays relatively quick. It gives you that satisfying feel of Mysterium while also providing a bit of challenge at the table between the two of us. So, yeah, absolutely love it. That is Mysterium Park from Livelud. Coming in at game number 8.
So this one is very different. This one's Sentinels of the Multiverse by Greater Than Games.
And particularly the definitive edition that recently was re-released, although we've loved both
played
versions.
both of them. Yes, for me, I'll play either version of it. The definitive edition, and we just have everything in one box now too and stuff.
Well, 2 boxes now. There'll be a third box soon.
All right, well, skip that.
But
yeah, so you are superheroes in a comic book.
Books. Oh, I'm a book. Look at me, I'm super.
Oh my gosh! So comic book superheroes that are, you can see if you know your like Marvel superheroes,
or your
TNC,
you're
gonna see some similarities.
Like these are
but they're not
specific
them.
to like the game.
Yeah,
right?
and they've got their own little backstories and stuff if you want to read into them. And you got your deck of cards, and you are working together usually to battle some big villain. It's just got a lot of, variability with, how difficult your villains are, your settings, who you're playing. Mix it up. It's a good game.
Yeah. No,
I like
really
deck builders and
I like
games.
it. Of like the superhero card games, like I think mechanically, because there's a location usually tied in with a villain that it feels a little more thematic, I think, to me, like the way the villains play than a lot of the other superhero card games that are out there. There are rules issues. I think the biggest complaint that a lot of people have are that there are rules confusion or complaints with this game, or how do certain things work. But you and I are really good at working through those kind of things and just saying, hey, this is the way we're going to play it, and we're good with it, and keep moving forward.
Yes. Yep.
So that is Sentinels of Multiverse from Greater Than Games. Game number 7.
All right, Conesy, what's number 7?
So number 7 is Isle of Skye, not Isle of Skype like this says in the notes, from Lookout Games. Isle of Skype. Skype is a dead application now. It's end of life for Microsoft, by the way. But Isle of Skye...
This is not a tech podcast or a tech YouTube show, no.
Isle of Skye is a tile layer / economic game where during each round you will draw basically 3 tiles that you are then going to place in front of your little board, and then you secretly set amounts on which the minimum price is for each one of those, and then other players going around the table will get to choose how much they want, if they want to pay or buy one of those tiles, or one of the 2 tiles, one of the 3 you throw out, and you get that money, and then any money you spent on any tiles that for any tiles that were not purchased from you, you have to return to the bank, and you get that tile as well, and then you place them in your little tableau, and you that'll let you score points and do things. Like, I really think of this game as kind of Carcassonne, but kicked up in a different way. Like, because you aren't, like, your little Isle of Skye is not... you're not doing it cooperatively with anybody else. It's your own little board.
Own map.
Where you're deciding to place these tiles, but the decision on how you draft and get those tiles is so much different and so interesting that I really like that aspect of it. And it allows for a different way of interaction versus just drawing it from a pile and going, oh, okay, I'm going to put it on the map here. And everybody's cooperatively kind of trying to build.
Yeah, you're trying to get what's best for you and keep tiles from the other player at times. So there can be some take that, or you can play without.
Yeah, so it plays great as a 2-player.
Oh my gosh,
like
yes.
For a game where you're like
always played as a 2-player.
setting prices. I've played it a couple times at larger player counts, and it's great at larger player counts too. But yeah, we really do enjoy this one. It was a great recommendation from BK over at Misty Mountain Games.
Yeah.
Thank you, BK, if you're watching. And yeah, definitely another one of those ones that, hey, we talk about our board games on a budget. Hey, getting a recommendation for a great game from the store owner is also a great way to make a decision on whether you should buy a game or not. So
Yes.
that is Isle of Skype, Isle of Sky from Lookout
Let me
Games.
just change this in here. Oh my gosh. Okay, look, it says Isle of Sky in our notes, everyone.
All right, Isle of Sky from Lookout Games. That was game number 7. Let's move on to game number 6.
All right, so game number 6 is Patchwork, which is also produced by Lookout Games.
I think it's the only 2-player only game on our list.
Yeah, actually it is. We have several 2-player only games which we enjoy, but
Yeah,
this
we
is
have a whole shelf of them.
yes, but we have a lot of games that we play as 2 players
Mhm.
that can do more. And Patchwork is only for 2 players, and on it you have your quilt pattern, and you are drafting oh my gosh, I cannot talk at all.
Quilt tiles. You're drafting these tiles to put
pieces.
on your polyominoes to be able to put
Yep.
on your board,
And you're trying to fill it in to make it a
you get
rectangle if
buttons.
possible.
Yep, you get your scoring
Buttons
collecting
are your
buttons,
currency.
which are also your points.
And points, yes, and you're moving along a track, and depending on who's the furthest along on the track, how is
the active player.
Well, no, the one behind
The
you
one is behind is
the one who gets to
the
go
active
next.
player. So you can and then you can do things. Everything takes
number of
every tile
spaces
that
of
you
time.
acquire costs buttons and or time.
Yep. So that track is the time
Represents
that's
the
for you.
time. So it's how
to
much
making your
time
quilt.
you spent putting the quilt together that
Yep.
ends up on your board.
Yes, and then until once one gets to the middle, then the game's gonna end,
Mm-hmm.
and then you score
Buttons.
base and buttons
Yep.
on you have there, and there's a few other scoring things.
Yeah.
I think with like
That's
women
cool.
filled in.
It's a really good. I mean, obviously, it's a really good 2-player game that has then been rethemed. Like I don't know how many times to like the
Yes.
Halloween edition, this edition, and that edition.
Yeah, there's
So
the
clearly,
American edition.
We're not
so-
the only ones that really enjoy Patchwork, but it is a really enjoyable 2-player only game that is the only 2-player only game that makes this list. And
Yeah.
that's saying something because I think we have a few other really good 2-player only games that we really
do.
enjoy. And the best things about 2-player only games is, again, they meet that easy to set up, easy to tear down.
Easy
hey,
to
you
remember
play
the rules
easy,
on it.
Easier to remember the rules oftentimes. Plays usually in an hour and a half, so it's easier to get to the table.
Yes, or even less. Like Patchwork is like a 15 to 20 minute game sometimes, just depending on
Absolutely.
how it goes and everything. And I mean, it took us some work to get this down to our top 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
we didn't want to sit here with the top 50.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So next up on the list is our game number 5.
All right, game number 5 is one that there are 3 versions of. We've played all 3 of them. It is Pandemic Legacy by Z-Man Games.
So this is our first. Hey, we're including 3 games in one.
Well, I mean, but it's the idea that it's the Pandemic Legacy games because once you play them, you're done with them. You can't go. You can't go back and replay them.
I mean,
I
you
guess
can
you
go
can
buy
buy.
the game again and replay it, but sure.
Well, without having to go spend another
Which if
chunk
they
of
don't
money.
make another Pandemic Legacy soon, I feel like in another year or so, you're going to make me get a copy of one of the existing Pandemic Legacies, and we're going to play it again, like Season 2
Probably.
that we didn't win.
Yes, but we really enjoy this. So it is, if you're familiar with Pandemic, it is that with additional components and storyline and things that change and your map could expand or different things can happen with the virus. So I don't want to give a lot.
Don't want to give away a lot, but it's,
No.
I think Pandemic is a enjoyable game that we
Yeah.
like. It's a very well received game out there in the marketplace.
It's
but
cooperative,
so
so you have to work together with the other half of the couple. You can't be feuding at it.
And I like playing co-ops with you in particular
That's a good
because
thing.
there's not a we don't have like a person at the table that really is dominating the game. You have no
No.
problem telling me I'm wrong, and or that you want to do
Yeah.
something different or whatever. Or we just we're pretty good at, like, just when we play cooperative games, we just kind of do our thing, and we know each other well enough to know how to balance kind of what you're doing or what I'm doing. Actually, you're probably doing more of the, I'm going to do this because I know Ben's going to do that.
Well,
that I'm probably doing.
I mean, and this is, I think, a big thing with cooperative games for us, or then why they make a good couples game a lot of times, is that it is this, I don't know, some couples go on those retreats to strengthen their bond and everything. Well, we play games where you have to be reading your partner and understanding your partner. Like, some games, that's like how it was really great. A good way to get to know each other when we first started dating.
And then Pandemic Legacy, the story arc for all 3 seasons is really good and really ties like what's happening in the game together. And we really enjoyed exploring all 3 of them.
Yes.
And if they make a Pandemic Season 3, we are right there. We will buy it and definitely enjoy it. And it's good for...
We may have to take a couple days off of work
20
to play
plays. So...
Yeah.
Also, we really like, we definitely get all the plays out of the box and maximize that enjoyment for.
We do, and I mean, it's not to say that we lose every game.
I mean, there's something to be said that at the end of like any of the Pandemic Legacies, the game is like just there's no playing it afterwards. But I don't think we have a game in our collection barely that has as many plays on it as any one of our copies of Pandemic Legacy. So so there is that. So that is Pandemic Legacy Seasons 0, 1, and 2 from Z-Man Games.
Yes.
Moving on to game number 4. So game number 4, we have Distilled from Paverson Games. This was our top game from, or at least my top game from 2023. And
it was on my
your
list.
top games from 2023.
Yes.
Above, in case you haven't seen that video. Distilled is a game where you play and you own a distillery and
you've inherited this distillery and it's run down.
You've decided you're going to make this the most prestigious distillery in the world, or at least at the table with the other players. And so this game plays great with whatever the player count is, it is probably the heaviest table setup, I think, game we maybe have on this list. Maybe not. You could argue that a little bit. There's a lot of stuff that goes into setting it up and putting it on the table.
The version we have has really nice storage trays and organizer in it, which cuts down that time considerably from having everything in baggies.
But I just love. I absolutely love this game. I don't care how many players I'm playing. I think there's a solo mode. I might actually figure that out someday because I really do enjoy playing Distilled. But it's great that you also enjoy it, and it's got great table presence. And my biggest complaints about like the text size and whatever, those are getting corrected, I believe, in the next printing.
I don't know. And to me, they're not. Once you play the game a couple times, you have a general idea.
We'll see what we say in like another 15 or 20 years when we're older and our eyesight's gone. But
that's what we.
Hey, can you see that's written on that card? No, it's like 2 inches from my nose. All right, but anyways,
gosh.
Yeah, gosh, yeah.
Anyways, that is Distilled from Paverson Games.
Yes, Distilled from Paverson Games. Dave will love us for that. glowing
He's
comment.
we're gonna get some big cards for the 3
he's
letters
like, just
across.
for you guys, I'm gonna send you guys new cards that have huge font on them. Yeah. All right, next up for game number 3.
So game number 3 is Azul by Next Move Games.
Yeah,
and this is. Mainly we're talking about the base game of Azul, though we own and love every version and expansion of Azul. So it's a great game. It's a tile layer, tile drafting, completing rows. I mean, you're trying to not let these tile pieces fall on the floor and break, when you're in this factory. But ultimately, you just have this pretty picture when you're done of tiles. and stuff.
Yeah, no,
So
I love the quality of the components, the gameplay.
it sounds nice when you're playing.
And I know I've totally told this story before, but it is definitely a game like I expected nothing out of. I hadn't really been on my list of games to check out. It was on yours, I think. And the first time I played it, it was, oh my goodness, and it was like a end of the night kind of game where it was like, oh my goodness, I absolutely love this game. Can we play again? And then everybody at the table was like, we need to play this again. And we played it like 3 times in a row, which is really rare for me to want to play a game immediately afterwards and literally then to play it again immediately afterwards. And I wasn't tired of playing it, and I'm still not tired of playing it.
And then you told me about it, and we weren't married yet, and I went out and bought it, taught our daughter how to play it.
And then
it was like, oh my gosh, every time you're over, we were playing Azul. So, I mean, it is my favorite. The base is my favorite version of it, but the other ones are good too.
We probably need to play Queen's Garden a bit more. I think we only got it to the table once, but yeah,
I think I've played a couple more times than that.
Maybe.
But anyway, doesn't matter. On to the next game.
That is Azul from Next Move Games. Game number 2. Game number 2 is Mansions of Madness, second edition from Fantasy Flight Games. And they're very specific to second edition because first edition, sure, you could have played it as a 2-player, but there was so much fiddly setup and work, it just wasn't.
I never played first edition. It sounds awful. And
it was. I did not enjoy. I didn't enjoy playing it in first edition. There was like, with a person playing kind of the bad guy, player kind of running the game, it just was clunky and slow, and it just didn't work.
But anyway, second edition
where you have the suspense with the app and the unknowing, so now you're playing it as a cooperative group of investigators trying to take on the game, and with the luxury with 2 players is that, most of the time I think we just play a single investigator each, but it's not that big a deal if we wanted to add in, like if both of us wanted to play 2 investigators, like from a gameplay perspective, it doesn't change
because the app does all the scaling for you.
It does.
It scales the difficulty. It has the scenario, the players, and which players you pick.
I mean, this is a game that could. This is a game that definitely could suffer from a little quarterbacking if your cooperative group had a player that kind of quarterbacked the games. But at 2 players,
it's really
like
hard
especially
to
with the
do
way
that.
we play cooperative games, we don't quarterback things right. So we may talk a little bit about like what do you think or what should I do or whatever here and there, which is I think natural.
Tired maybe one person is. So there may be times where like, hey, I'm just not feeling the greatest and we're playing a game, I'll just be like, you just tell me what you want me to do.
And I'll be like, I don't no idea. Don't put the all total emphasis on our total doom of winning and losing this game on me.
Because it's so off. I think actually Mansions of Madness plays solo.
It does.
If you could get all the components painted up, then I could try playing it solo.
Yes. So the biggest reason it's not on the getting on the table more lately is because I decided to paint our copy, and it is. I think I got the base game is like about. I think I'm about 30 or 40% through the bad guy side of it. So we're closing in on having a fully copied base game of Mansions of Madness. That should be hopefully another couple months. All right, that is Mansions of Madness from Fantasy Flight Games. And it was our game number 2. Woo-hoo. Finally, our game number 1. Game number 1. This probably won't be a surprise to anybody that's watched us on these videos, but Suzanne, what is our game number 1?
It is Spirit Island by Greater Than Games. Yes, we have loved this game, I think, since the first time we played it together.
It is the only game that we agreed to play on our brand new Geek and Son Henry game table when it showed up.
Yep.
In our, we both picked 10 games.
It was the only one.
Only crossover on each list.
But I love just how the look of the game is, the complexity of the game, the variability.
Fact that it mocks Catan right from the start, without actually mocking it in the rules or anything like that.
So you are a spirit, and we're spirits, and we are trying to fight off
Repel
these
those
invaders that
rotten
have come to
settlers.
our islands. Yes, that are coming and they're exploring and building towns and cities, and we're trying to basically create this natural disasters, many natural disasters, to drive them from our lands.
Or possibly, depending on the type of spirit you are, you might be messing with their dreams and causing them to be extra fearful of the land.
Yes.
Or perhaps you're
Just trying to keep them in a little area.
You're a spirit that works with the natives more, so you're able to empower the native Dahan on the land to drive them off better. Or there are a lot of the spirits aren't necessarily always just doing natural disasters or anything like that. But yeah, it is a great cooperative game. We have a better win ratio than I think I hear a lot of people have with Catan.
With Spirit Island.
Spirit Island, not Catan.
We do not actually own Catan in this house.
Not anymore. We got rid of that game.
But I will say we have everything expansion-wise, I believe, pretty much for this game. But we play it that much.
Like we don't have like some of the foil spirits, but we have their non-foil counterparts now and stuff like that.
And I don't know that foil spirits are necessary. They look really cool.
Yeah, I mean the foil boards look cool, but not necessary.
And there's ways that you can scale this game up and down in difficulty pretty easy, even just with the base game. So,
and while the game plays up to 6 with expansions, I would recommend never playing it with that many players. In fact, I would play it like playing with less is generally better in my experience when playing Spirit Island.
Yeah,
so this is definitely a game that I don't feel scales up as well when you're playing with larger players.
Unless everyone really knows how to play and has spirits they really like and your spirits work together
the only time I've played Spirit Island where there was a full 4 players at the table was a time we were playing at our friend's house, and they owned Spirit Island. We were actually playing on their copy of Spirit Island, and they had played it a bunch and wanted to play it as a 4-player, and we were like, hey, so we played it as basically a couples game, and us with them, and that was great. That was great because everybody knew how to play and had fairly good experience with it.
Spirits out.
I mean, at 4 players, I think it's easier. The more players, the easier it is to balance the spirits.
But
because
if everyone is offensive, because you could make them all,
Then you just I think there's it's easier with more players to have better spirit balance. You have to worry about spirit balance a lot more when it's 2 players.
Yeah. Now I want to go and play all these games.
I have a feeling like talking about games is going to get you really motivated to play some games.
But you know what? It's blue sky outside in February in Wisconsin, which makes it very difficult to stay inside and play a game. But I could be talked into it.
If you say so. Anyways, that is our top 10 list of games that we love playing as couples. I expect this list will probably change year after year as new games come out and whatnot. But we did a lot of drill down to try to figure out what was the 10 games that we actually both of us agreed to enjoy playing together at the tabletop as couples. And of course, with Valentine's Day and coming around the corner and players that love playing 2-player games, we thought this would be a great time to talk about what games we enjoyed. And if you enjoy any of these games or have other games that you think are great games to play as a couple or play as a 2-player game, please let us know in the comments below, and we'll definitely let you know what we think and if we've played those games, and we love hearing about it. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Hey there, it's Conesy. Thank you so much for watching. We put out videos weekly here at Wisco Dice. Check out our channel for more great videos, and don't forget to subscribe. We also have more great content on our website at wiscodice.com. Of course, we do this all for you, the viewers. So please like the video if you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.